Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whichever applies. My name is Samari Thomas Maria, and I am a graduating senior at Region University. Today, I finished my federal internship, and then this weekend, I will be graduating with my class 2025, with my bachelor's in business, with emphasis in international business, and I will have had double minored in international relations and foreign policy, and international and homeland security. In my class, Genie 402, Making Up the Christian Mind, my studies focus on the 5 leadership model principles outlined by Kuntz and Posner in their book, Everyday People, Extraordinary Leadership. As part of evaluating the model, I interviewed my former boss, Sarah Young, a H&M store manager, and then conducted an analysis comparing her leadership style to the leadership model. In the first week of this class, we were asked to cultivate our own definition of Christian leadership. Initially, I simply defined Christian leadership as servant leadership. I specifically said my definition of Christian leadership, or a Christian leader, is an individual who exemplifies God or Christ, Jesus Christ, while leading others through enacting servant leadership as one of the primary elements that constitutes a Christian leader. The ability to recognize the innate value that everyone has, as stated in Genesis 1:27, that we are all made in the image of God, and to be able to treat others accordingly is a key element. As I reflected on the interview analysis, I learned the importance of effective, direct, and clear communication from Sarah, and how to initiate change, specifically by challenging the process of solidified habits and culture within the workplace from Kuntz and Posner. Rather than redefining my initial definition of Christian leadership, I would like to expound on my definition based on what I learned from my interview analysis. First, I learned from the interview itself the importance of effective, clear, and direct communication. To be a servant leader, it is valuable and highly important to put your subordinates, those ahead of you, those around you, under, above, around, anyone that is not you, is important to put their needs, their betterment before yourself. In future leadership roles, I will be faced with issues that require concise and clear communication and between myself and those I lead when facing those difficulties. For example, if an employee is struggling to get to work on time due to caring for an ill family member, somebody who's disabled, any instance of personal struggle that is causing this issue of them being late, if I do not establish a clear line of communication, if there's not a relationship of open communication between myself and the employee, or I just fail to ask, I won't be able to meet their needs. I won't be able to effectively reschedule them, change their work schedule, or even offer outside additional assistance to them in the workplace and outside the workplace. If there's a conflict between 2 employees or myself and another employee, and direct, clear, and respectful communication is withheld by myself or the employee within the situation will worsen. It will sour the workplace experience, and then employees will leave. If I foster a workplace culture that welcomes constructive feedback, conflict can either be minimized, avoided, or just simply handled and resolved in an efficient manner, rather than allowing it to fester, bubble, and destroy the community that we've created. Second, I found most valuable for myself from the model was learning to initiate change and challenge the process of solidifying habits and culture within the workplace. In past work experiences, I've noticed that the pre-existing culture is solidified and it doesn't change. If the leader, for example, is carrying the brunt of the workload, specifically decision making that affects the employees, and the employees are not able to input their opinions, then the decisions made often negatively affect the employees. Employees will leave, employees will complain, the workplace environment will sour again. In future leadership position, I plan to ask and incorporate the ideas of my employees and the decisions made in the workplace that greatly affect them. I plan to also incorporate and delegate tasks involving the implementation of these new decisions to employees who speak up, who are willing to give their fresh ideas, their new ideas, to help not only better themselves, but better their employees, and their fellow employees, and better the workplace. I think that their involvement in the development of the implementation will not only expedite but also improve the decisions made by my fellow or my employees under me. As a leader, I don't always see everything that they see, and they will be able to add an additional insight. In conclusion, Christian leadership, specifically servant leadership, is many things. As part of its foundation, I learned that clear, concise feedback creates an environment of open dialogue. And I also learned that it is trusting and valuing the opinions of others and the ideas that they have around me to create and help create change to workplace norms that ultimately normally continue to fester and exist. Ultimately, servant leadership, Christian leadership, is recognizing the innate value of each individual person and placing their betterment before my own. Thank you for listening.